George Berkeley, an 18th-century philosopher, is best known for his immaterialist philosophy, which posits that reality consists only of minds and their ideas. Berkeley's central claim is often summarized as esse percipi, to be is to be perceived. In his view, physical objects do not exist independently of perception, rather, they are collections of sensory experiences, visual, tactile, auditory, and so forth, perceived by a mind. Here's how his ideas might connect to modern neuroscience and philosophy of perception. Berkeley's immaterialism and perception. Abstract concepts as sensory experiences. For Berkeley, what we think of as concepts or representations are ultimately grounded in collections of sensory perceptions. No external material world. Berkeley argued that we do not perceive material objects directly. Instead, we perceive sensations or ideas in our minds, which are caused by God as the ultimate perceiver. For him, this resolves philosophical problems about how the external world interacts with our minds. Neurological theories of perception and modernity. Modern neuroscience and theories of perception share certain resonances with Berkeley's thought, though they may diverge significantly in ontology. Sensory processing and representation in the brain. Neuroscience shows that what we perceive as the external world is actually a neural construction. Sensory input from the external world, light, pressure, sound waves, is processed and interpreted by the brain, resulting in the perception of objects and experiences. In this way, tactile and visual sensations are indeed abstracted and represented neurologically. For Berkeley, the external world is simply ideas in our minds. For modern neuroscience, the brain represents the external world through neural mechanisms, patterns of activity in sensory and associative cortices. Embodied cognition and the role of sensory modalities. Modern theories such as embodied cognition suggest that our understanding of abstract concepts is grounded in sensory and motor experiences. This aligns with Berkeley's claim that even abstract ideas are ultimately reducible to sensory perceptions. The perceiving subject. Neuroscience emphasizes the brain as the seat of perception, with ongoing debates about the nature of consciousness and the self as the perceiving subject. While Berkeley attributes perception to a spiritual mind, or soul, modern theories look to physical processes in the brain to explain the unity and continuity of the perceiving subject. Modernity of Berkeley's ideas. Constructivist view of perception. Berkeley's view that objects are collections of perceptions parallels constructivist theories in neuroscience and philosophy, which hold that the brain constructs its representation of reality based on sensory input. Challenges to objective reality. Berkeley's skepticism about the independent existence of matter resonates with postmodern and phenomenological critiques of the notion of objective reality. Quantum physics and discussions about observer dependence in modern science have also brought a new appreciation for Berkeley's immaterialism. Philosophical inquiry into qualia. Berkeley's focus on perception aligns with modern philosophical debates about qualia, the subjective, experimental qualities of perception, e.g., the redness of red. While Berkeley attributes qualia to minds and divine causation, neuroscience explores how these arise from neural processes. Tensions between Berkeley and neuroscience. Materialist ontology. Neuroscience fundamentally assumes the existence of a material world, relying on physical processes in the brain to explain perception, whereas Berkeley denies the material world altogether. Divine causation versus natural mechanisms. Berkeley invokes God as the ultimate perceiver who ensures the consistency of perceived reality, a claim that modern neuroscience does not accommodate. Instead, neuroscience seeks mechanistic explanations for perceptual regularity. Summary. Berkeley's immaterialist philosophy intriguingly parallels aspects of modern neuroscience, particularly in understanding perception as mediated by the mind. While Berkeley attributes perception to divine orchestration, modern theories focus on the brain's neural processes. The modernity of Berkeley's thought lies in its challenge to naive realism and its anticipation of constructivist ideas in understanding perception.